Welcome to the Joey.C Baseball Show. Tonight we have a very special guest, a baseball guy that has played 14 years in the major leagues in Darnell. Welcome to the show, Darnell.
Thanks, Joe. How are you?
Darnell, let's see. You were born June 2nd, 1962, almost 50 years ago.
That's correct. Almost, not quite 50,
quite.
but yeah.
Almost 50.
Almost, yeah.
You know, on that great day when you came into this great world, did your parents or family think that you would be what you became in baseball?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, you're hoping that your kids do something with their life. But in my case, no. My mom, from an early age, she knew that I was going to play some sports. But she made sure,
right?
Because I played all four. I ran track, played baseball, basketball, and football. But she made sure that I was doing something all the time to stay out of trouble.
That's awesome.
And I think it paid off, because again, I treated my kids the same way, and they stayed out of trouble, and I enjoyed every minute.
That's wonderful. You know, you came up. You were the #1 draft pick in 1980 with the Mariners. 6th round, I believe.
6th player taken.
Yeah, 6th player taken in the first round.
Right.
You had a pretty impressive call-up on September 4th, 1983. You had 92 at-bats, 9 runs scored, 26 hits, 7 doubles, 6 RBIs, a .391 slugging percentage, and .283 batting average for the month of September.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
I did not know that. I just think that, all the time that you put in to get to the big leagues, your objective is to stay there, and I felt like I did enough to warrant that. And, September call-ups are what it's all about, so you get an opportunity to show what you can do, and it worked out for me.
Tell us a little bit about Darnell Call.
Well, I'm a family guy. I've been married for 29 years. I've got 3 grandchildren, one of which is 2 weeks old. I've got 2 boys that are both, one's graduating law school here in a month, and I've got my other one's going into the police academy in June.
A police officer in the family.
Absolutely. And then my daughter obviously has had the 3 kids, so she always has been the joy of my life.
That's awesome.
And I enjoy my grandkids a lot, because I know that I can feed them anything I want and send them back home. So that works for me.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your career before we get on to what you're doing now in baseball. You came up with the Mariners. You played for 7 other major league teams, I believe. The Tigers, the Giants, the Reds, the Blue Jays, the Cardinals. You went over to Japan in '96.
And actually, I didn't get a chance to play against Dwayne Hosey, my hitting coach, but yeah, he was over there too. And we got a chance to go over, and they treat you like a rock star over there. So we enjoyed every minute of it. Dwayne can speak some Japanese too. Believe me when I tell you that.
Well, we're looking forward to having Dwayne on the show as well. So, 14 years though. I mean, no matter cut and dry, that's a pretty good feat to stay in the major leagues for 14 years for anybody.
I don't think there's any question. I think that the easy part, so to speak, is what people say. It's getting there, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. But to stay there for an extended period of time is tough to do, because you got the different guys in different organizations.
Absolutely.
You've got the guys that are coming through your organization. There's trades and all the other stuff that come into play. But for me to have stayed there for a long time, I feel honored, and it was a privilege. And you miss it, but I understand that I couldn't go out and play today. Some guys, I'd love to go out there. Don't even try.
Yeah,
and it's not the same.
You leave the body on the field.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you do.
Now, you accomplished something that not many players have accomplished, and that you are, I believe, one of 14 players to hit 3 home runs in a single game, and you did it in both leagues. Let's talk about that night in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, first time up, I think I lined out to right field, and then my second time up, I hit a home run. Then my third time up, I hit another home run off of Larry Caskey, who happened to be, if you believe this. So again, later on that game, I hit another home run, but I hit 1 home run off of Larry in that game, and then when I went, the year that we won the World Series in 1993, I hit 3 home runs in a game when I was playing for Toronto against Minnesota, and Larry Cassian pitched, and I hit 2 of the 3 home runs off of him in that game. So 3 of the 6 home runs I hit off 1 pitch.
Off 1 pitch. And that was so you were part of the '93 World Series team, the Toronto Blue Jays. So you played with 2 of my good friends, Ed Sprague and Pat Borders.
Absolutely.
And tell me about the night in Minnesota when you hit the 3 home runs.
Oh, you know, the night before, I mean, ironic, because the night before, you know, I was slated to play the outfield, and Ed Sprague's wife had a baby.
Okay.
So he left.
Kristen, I believe, right?
Kristen had a baby,
Okay.
so he went home for that. And the night before, I dove into first base, and this is obviously one of those pet peeves with our organization. Don't slide into the bases head first. So I dive into first base and dislocate my pinky.
Right.
So, and my pinky's heading east and my hand's going west. So anyway, long story short was that I go the next day and I have the two fingers taped together and out, and, you know, cut the last two fingers out of the last glove. So I played that game, and luckily enough, you know, phenomenal game, hit 3 home runs, and the rest is history.
I want to touch on one more thing about your playing career. Well, it's not so much about your career, but you came up at a time when salaries, major league minimum in '83, I believe, was what, 60,000 maybe?
I think it was 60,000. Now it's you know, almost $500,000. But again, in my day, that was what it was, and I was proud to be there. And I don't try and look back and say if I played right now, I'd be making you know whatever the 6th player taken in the draft would make, that sort of thing. But you know, the game. This is the game. This is the best game in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree 100%.
Golf is fun. Basketball's fun. Football's fun. And again,
can you
each
golf
profession,
though?
That's the problem. I can't golf at all. But this is the best game in the world.
I agree.
I'm just happy to be a part of it.
After you retired, what did you do?
Well, I went home and coached my kids. Went and my first year home, I wanted to make sure that I was there for everything. My daughter was a senior in high school. I watched their volleyball team win the state championship. I'm very proud of her. And like I said, she's the joy of my life. But then I got a chance to coach my boys. I coached DJ, who's the one that's graduating from law school. I coached him from the 9th grade through 12th, and then I coached Jared, the one that's going to be a police officer. I coached him from the 9th grade to the 11th grade.
That's awesome.
And then
Wonderful thing.
Got back into coaching. And 2 years previous to this, I was with the Washington Nationals for 4 years. Loved every minute of that, but the Brewer organization is a fantastic organization, top to bottom. And I love the opportunity to be here, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
That's awesome. Now, previously to coming back as being a manager this year, you were the hitting coordinator for the Milwaukee Brewers?
For the last 2 years.
What made you want to go back to managing?
Well, I think you get a chance to encompass guys' lives on a daily basis. I think that when you're a hitting coordinator, or any coordinator for that matter, you see everybody in spring training, you work with them, you go over the fundamentals and all those things that make them good hitters or good catchers, all that, so that they understand their swings and their mechanics from top to bottom. But to intertwine in their lives what they do daily, how you carry yourself, what the presentation is moving forward, and how you play the game.
Absolutely.
Because I want them to play the right way, and I want them to be able to go from here and be able to play in the big leagues and not look back.
Do you consider yourself a manager that tries to stay pretty structured during the season?
No question. I think there's rules. I think that these guys got to abide by, and a lot of those rules are from our major league team and throughout the organization. But then there's other rules, clean shaved, obviously.
Right.
The presentation, make sure you're on time, do what we ask you to do.
Absolutely.
Bunt guys over we need you to do, make your pitches, walk guys, whatever that is, the daily grind that we have to do for the 142 games plus the playoff is what it is. But ultimately, you want these guys to be able to go into life, if they don't make it any further than here, that there's an understanding that you go into life and do the best you can for as long as you can, and the good Lord willing, it works out for you.
How important, from the time they sign an athlete, either out of high school or college, do you feel from the very beginning they step through the door of the organization to just set a positive example from top to bottom, from the time they're in rookie ball to the time, let's hope they do make it to the major leagues, to set that precedent for them if they're able to graduate that day to the major league level? How important in their minor league career is it for the player development staff to just set a very positive atmosphere for these guys at each level?
Well, I think scouting and player development obviously are the keys to any organization. You draft the players, and then you give them to the player development people like ourselves, and we mold them into the players that get the opportunity to try and play in the big leagues. Again, because there's no guarantees. You got to get there. You still got to perform. But you learn each and every level what it takes to play, and the game speeds up as you go up. So you don't make the careless errors, and you don't knock backup bases, and you understand how to pitch guys, how to set guys up, and all that. So, you have those different things that are going on. So I think ultimately what it boils down to, how bad do you want to play in the big leagues, and are you willing to put in the time that it takes to listen to the guys that have been through those wars before, that are going to allow you to position yourself to have a chance to play in the big leagues for a long time.
We're going to wrap up with 2 more questions.
Okay.
What's your greatest, fondest memory of the game when you played? For you?
Well, I think winning a world championship with Toronto was, as far as baseball goes, my fondest memory. Because again, not a whole lot of people win championships, and I was lucky enough to be a part of one. And then second, and most importantly, I think having your family be able to go through all the trials and tribulations, the minor leagues, get to the big leagues, play for as long as you did, and now into the coaching aspect, to understand what your dad went through his whole career, and that you guys were a part of it. And at the end of the day, you wake up every morning with the hope that your kids turn out to be good people and can go through life with the understanding that you do the right thing, good thing will happen for you. And I feel like I've done that with my kids.
Awesome. And the final question will be: if you anticipate, is your anticipation someday to be a major league manager?
No question. I think that you put it in this time and energy into wanting to and aspire to be at the top of your profession, and managing at this stage, being on the field is the top of the profession, and I'm looking forward to someday getting that opportunity.
Well, I want to thank Darnell for being a guest on the Joey.C Baseball Show. Darnell, it's been a great pleasure talking with you, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Joe, and anytime.
Stay tuned. Tomorrow night we have John Duffy, the pitching coach for the Jacksonville Suns, will be on our show. Thank you for tuning in to Ustream here. I'm Joe Catalano, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.